Tom Brady and the Buccaneers put last week's embarrassing loss behind them by dismissing the Panthers 46-23. Brady had an efficient game, going 28 of 39 through the air with 341 yards and 3 touchdowns with no turnovers and only taking a single sack. Bruce Arians dubbed Brady's performance as, quote, outstanding. So how about that from the head coach? Shannon, how impressive were Brady and the Bucs?
Well, they did what they were supposed to do, Skip. I thought this was the game, and I said is that because the Panthers don't generate pressure on the quarterback, Brady should be able to have his way. He should be able to survey the field and just take whatever he likes. But I also mentioned, Skip, I believe they should run the football. And I was glad that Bruce Arians, because Roe Jones, he did it again, Skip, fumbled the ball early. But I was glad B.A.
Not on a running play, after he caught a pass.
Yeah. I was happy that B.A. stuck with him. Because sometimes, Skip, B.A. can be impulsive. Like the Giants game, Skip, he just pulled him right away. Give the guy a chance, man. You know, sometimes, sometimes if the coach loses confidence in you, you'll lose confidence in yourself. And I think B.A. sticking with him, I think that gave him confidence. Everybody picking him up on the sideline. Hey, bro, we good, bro. We get it back. And he stuck with him, and it paid off huge dividends. When you can run the ball like they ran it yesterday, Skip, 37 rush attempts, 210, yeah. So now,
well, obviously 98 came on one play.
Right, but Skip, even with that, take away that big run, they still was gonna be well over 100 yards, and they somewhat
not well over, just some over, a little bit.
I mean, so you take away that long run, Roe Jones would have had 22 carries. So Fournette had 8. That's 30, 32. 35, 30. So they're still going to have a bunch of, they're still going to have 36 carries.
They were pretty bad. It was 39 passes to 37.
Right.
Runs.
So Skip, that is the balance. So now, because I can put the ball in Rojo's belly or Fournette's belly, and they got to respect the ability to run the football, linebackers going to come up, vacated areas are going to be available, and Tom Brady was able to find those empty lanes. I thought he did a good job of spreading it around. Mike Evans got 11 targets. I think AB had like 8 targets. Chris Godwin knows he's going to be the low man on the totem pole. Between those 3 guys.
Okay, but he got 6 and caught all 6.
Yes.
And had the most yards of anybody. Right. Receiving, he had 92.
Well, if Brady was a little bit more accurate, Mike Evans might have had 200 yards. And Gronk might have had, yeah.
I saw 3 big drops.
Hold on.
Interesting.
You saw 3 big drops?
Yep.
Well, let me tell you what I saw. Hey, Jim, can you cue the tape? I got me a new DJ.
Okay.
Drop this track, Jim. Was that a drop? I just want to know, is this a drop?
Okay. No, that was the first pass of the day that he missed AB on.
Okay, yeah. So what about this one right here? Is this a drop? Is that a drop?
No.
Okay. What about, hold on, I ain't done yet.
Yep.
What about this one right here? Is that a drop?
No.
Okay.
It's a little overthrown.
What about the drop?
Extremely, there's still tropical winds down there. They said it was blowing like crazy.
It's funny, but it was tropical wind. So somehow during a tropical storm, was that Etna? He had 341 yards pass. So the wind didn't bother those other 341, just those.
Well, he missed some.
Okay, but that's Skip. Yeah. Can I get a man some credit? All I'm saying is you won't
can you? That's a good question. Why don't you answer your own question?
I'm trying to. Skip. I thought Tom played well. I thought they ran the ball and then they were able to play action. But I told you the whole week, Skip, they don't generate pressure. And if you can't pressure him, you can't beat them. That's my only point. Tom played well. Mike Evans got involved. AB was involved. The guys were very, very active. But if you do not pressure Tom Brady, if you cannot get him off that mark, you cannot beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But there should be some pause for concern. The Tampa Bay defense, I think, is taking a step back. I don't see that same ferocity that I saw in that stretch. Skip, there was a stretch about 3 or 4 games. I think they played Green Bay and they played a few other teams that they were all over people. That back end, they guess too much. You can't guess all the time, Skip, because you got the Rams, and then you got my homeboy. You guess, they'll hang 50 on you.
Agreed. You done?
Yeah, but I thought I'd get...
Finally. My turn.
Do I give Tom a grade? I'll give him a grade later.
Well, go ahead.
I give
him like C-?
No, I give him a B+.
B+? All right, I'll take that.
Give him a B+.
I thought Tom Brady, under the circumstances, was extremely impressive yesterday because he went from arguably the worst game of his career to the best game he has played so far this football season. That's what happened yesterday. And The Bucs went from looking like the worst team in pro football last Sunday night against New Orleans, hopeless, hapless, had no chance of doing anything the whole night. Everything went completely wrong. To yesterday, I disagree with your overall assessment because I thought defensively, especially in the second half, they buckled up and buckled down. I thought they played as a team their best game of the season because I thought that was a dangerous game. I told you Friday how dangerous it was because what did Carolina just do to my homeboy in my homeboy's home?
They lost.
It was 33-31. They led for much of the game. They put it on them every which way but loose. The only place they didn't put it on them was the scoreboard. But Teddy Bridgewater had an 89 QBR to Mahomes' 83 in that game. And if you look at the total yards in that game, Carolina had 435 to 397 for the home team. Time of possession was lopsided in favor of Carolina. It was 38-22 in favor of Carolina. And that team scared me to death because the defense is good enough to hang in with anybody because it's ranked 15th in points allowed, which is right in the middle of the pack, but they're dangerous at home. They can beat people at home. And I thought they had Tampa at the worst place at the right time because what happened this week when the tropical storm happened? It screwed up 2 straight practices for the Bucs where they had to go inside. They couldn't practice outside. This game obviously was going to be played outside. And then they hear that Ali Marpet, their left guard, who's one of the best left guards in football, for the second straight week with a concussion, he was out. So they had to move A.Q. Shipley, who's been with Arians for a long time. He's just a basic backup center. They had to put him in at center and then move Ryan Jensen, the center, to left guard. So these are all working against them until Saturday night when what happens at the airport in Tampa? Bad news happens. They got big mechanical, and you've been through this before.
Yes.
It's 7.5 hours delayed. Much of it sitting on the runway, and then the rest of it back at the terminal where you got to go in and try to have your meetings and try to figure it out.
Skip, they didn't walk to Charlotte.
You get to Charlotte at midnight. You got to the hotel at midnight. You've been there where this screws up everybody and everything. You're not going to sleep well because it's going to come fast because it's a 1 o'clock game.
Yes.
And you're going to have to sleep. You probably tried fitfully to sleep on the plane. Everything is working against you where you're saying, you know what? This whole season is starting not to be meant to be, right? And right away, Brady's first pass goes to Rojo, and he catches it and turns and fumbles it, and they get a short field touchdown, and it is 7-0 home team. That is scary. And late in the first half, it's 17-10 home team. So don't tell me this wasn't, and to your point about the defense, it was getting shredded in the first half. By the way, that defense did knuckle down in the second half. Yeah. It allowed Carolina 35 total yards in the second half. Bridgewater did get hurt.
But the thing is with Teddy is that he doesn't push the ball down the field. So once they see, and Tampa is the type of team, and Todd Bowles, the way he looks at it, if you're not going to push the ball down the field, I'm going to get closer and closer to the line of scrimmage. I'm going to get closer and closer to the line of scrimmage. And so I'm going to force you. So you don't, all you want to do is just take checkdowns? I'm going to take the checkdowns away.
Well, I think Teddy Bridgewater is a giant killer. He scares me to death.
Well, Skip, Teddy is a guy that plays well. But at some point in time, you got to threaten the people down the field. So even though, see, those overthrows at Tom, even though they weren't completions, he got in the back of your mind, I'll go over your head.
Yep.
You keep squatting.
What did I tell you Friday? He leads the National Football League in air distance. The distance the ball travels from his hand to wherever the receiver is.
Yes.
Not whether it's caught or not, just in pure air distance, he leads the whole league.
I prefer mine
no risk it, no biscuit.
I prefer my guy to be like my homeboy.
And by the way, yesterday, Tom Brady had the second-best QBR in all of football, a 91. Only Daniel Jones playing a career game against your sorry stinking Eagles had a 92. So Brady almost had the best QBR in football. So let's go back to what happened when they're down 7-0, shall we? Let's look at the best of Tom Brady yesterday because he converts after the missed throw we saw to AB. He goes 3 straight third downs conversions, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 7, 3rd and goal at the 5. There's the first one to Mike Evans. Is that a good throw?
Great rub.
I'd say that would work. And then here comes the next one. This is to Godwin. And some people thought this was lucky. I thought it was just pure genius.
He was throwing to Mike Evans.
No, I think he was throwing to Chris Godwin, and he threaded the needle. And then he hits Cameron Brate.
That was his best throw today.
And it was sweet because he is covered up.
That was his best throw today.
Covered up at the goal line.
He was.
And he throws it right
throw.
where he has to throw it.
That was a great throw.
Okay, and then he comes back. This is when they're down 17-10 near the end of the half. And you want to talk about spreading the wealth amongst, this is where you see a cavalcade of star receivers. That's to Chris Godwin on 3rd down. That's 3rd and 11. He goes for 14. And here he goes to Antonio Brown. That'll work. He started to get on some wavelength with Antonio. And then who is next? Guess who? His old favorite Gronk, who beats it for 44 yards. That'll work.
Skip, they got a 5'6" man on a 6'6" man. What you expect to happen?
And then here comes Mike Evans again, and he goes up and snatches it because he high-pointed the ball that Brady threw to the perfect spot. So think about what I just showed you. He goes Godwin on 3rd and 11 for 15 yards. He goes AB for 16. He goes Gronk for 44. And then he goes Mike Evans from the 3 for a touchdown. That's a parade of stardom. You can see what's coming for this offense, and that tied it at 17 at halftime. So remember, it gets completely out of control in the second. They win 46-23.